Hey guys, Katelyn with Gravel here, and today I'm talking about why I upgraded from the M1 Pro Macbook Pro to the M4 Max Macbook Pro. We did keep in the 14-inch profile. I didn't go for the 16-inch upgrade, and that's because I meticulously do not want to carry an even heavier laptop. I so wished that the MacBook Air weight and 15-inch was a MacBook Pro internals. That would be the dream setup. But for now, this is what we got, and I've so far loved having a 14-inch. I used to have a 13-inch, I've had a 15-inch, a 16-inch, and the 14-inch is kind of perfect for anyone who is on the go, whether you are just out moving in your day-to-day life, you like to go work at a coffee shop or wherever it is, or if you're literally on the go traveling around the world. For me, it really packs a punch with power, but also the ability to be so small and not take up so much space in my bag. So we're gonna kind of get into the details why I think this laptop is worth the upgrade from the M1 series if you are a traveler and you do a lot of creative work like video editing or 3D rendering or things like that. So let's get into it. And for the specifics, I'm coming from the M1 Pro with 32 gigabytes of RAM to the M4 Max with 64 gigabytes of RAM. Right off the bat, something I'm already seeing that is huge is data transfer. So on the M4 Max, we have 3 Thunderbolt 5 USB-Cs. When you are transferring a ton of video footage from a USB-C hard drive to another USB-C hard drive, they're both connected to your MacBook, you are going to see such an increase in speed. It's actually like insane. From my understanding, the M1 Pro has one Thunderbolt 4 port, and so when you are transferring data from one hard drive to the next, you're not getting that full pass-through where you can get a lot of speed. And on the M4 Max, I've already seen it completely blow my mind. So for example, I plugged a T9, Samsung T9 hard drive in and another one into the computer, and I was able to pass 1.2 terabytes in under 45 minutes. And then I plugged in those same hard drives, one into the computer and one into the studio display, and it was actually estimating over 2 hours for 700 gigabytes. So almost half the amount of data to transfer was gonna take over 2 times the amount. And for me, data transferring is actually something I do a lot between video editing and making sure I'm backing up hard drives, putting them onto different places, organizing everything. I kind of love to keep my hard drives really organized so when you open them up, if you were a stranger, you would actually know what the heck you're looking at. And so this has been huge. I've actually taken advantage of the speed and rearranged a lot of my hard drives. That's something when you're traveling is pretty massive because you're always kind of on the go when you're traveling and shooting videos, and then you're editing, usually on the go. Maybe you're in a coffee shop or a co-work or something like that, or you're on an airplane and you just need something to finish faster so that you can actually like get a move on and go do your next adventure. This is something that practically makes a huge difference for me. For you, it might not, and you're like, what? I would never upgrade for that. That's totally cool, but for me, huge difference. Another pretty cool thing is you are going to see a huge boost from 600 nits of brightness on the screen to 1000 nits. I did not go with the nano texture because personally I like the look of these screens. I'm totally fine with the glossiness of it. I know that the matte look is really popular, but for me I didn't want to do that to dull colors. But the 1000 nits, 400 nits brighter, I will happily receive because that is super useful for when you're in really bright situations or if you're working outside on a patio. I absolutely love to do that in the good seasons of where I live or when I'm traveling, and so I will happily take the brighter screen. If you're curious about benchmarks and seeing actual comparisons, I highly recommend a video by iPhone Do or iPhone Do, and you will find that in the description below. There is a ton of benchmark testing with Blender, Final Cut Pro, Logic, all of the major creative apps, and that has been super useful for me, even being able to see kind of the differences between the two before I made the purchase. Something really exciting for me, I like to use Blender to do 3D renders for fun, and iPhone Do in his Blender benchmark saw that basically the MacBook Pro M4 Max was the top fastest ranking compared to the M4 Pro, the M4 iMac, the M3, M2, M1, and even against the M2 Ultra. On CPU power in the Blender test, he was able to see that the M4 Max actually ranked second below the M2 Ultra. So the M2 Ultra is definitely still winning in a huge accord. I would never upgrade from that to an M4 Max. But anyways, it is great to see that Apple is actually making a difference between their chips, even though they're upgrading them so extremely fast. It feels like they're coming out with new chips every single year. And until the M4 chips, I didn't really see a need to upgrade from the M1 Pro. And being honest, when I'm editing in Final Cut Pro, I don't really see a major difference between the M1 Pro and the M4 Max. And I think that's mostly because you're gonna see a lot more optimization within these apps running on Apple devices, Mac software. So you're not gonna see a major difference until maybe a new codec comes out, like a new video codec. Then you're gonna start seeing those issues. Or if you're running like RAW inside of DaVinci or something like that, that's where you're gonna see those differences happen. I'm actually about to take the M4 Max on a 6-week trip, and I'll be exclusively editing and working off of this M4 Max. And so I think I'll do kind of like a week in the life of an M4 Max MacBook Pro, using it for video editing, for 3D rendering, things like that, and kind of just do like a overall review after I've used it exclusively while traveling. If that's something you guys are interested in, let me know. Overall, Apple is of course always creating incredible devices. I've never really owned an Apple product and been extremely disappointed with its performance. Of course, they do come out with new things where you're like, I don't know if I really needed that, like the new iPhones every single year. I don't really think there's a need to upgrade every single time. Same with MacBooks. I'm going from M1 to M4. So it is cool that there's a longevity inside of these chips, and I'm so happy that they did make the jump from Intel to their own chips. Really quickly to thank the sponsor of this video. It's actually us, Gravel Travel. We make travel goods that actually make your traveling life so much easier, including our award-winning toiletry bags, which you're able to compartmentalize every single thing inside of so that it's not a huge mess inside of your bag. And if you're sick of liquids getting all over literally everything, we have these awesome silicone storages for liquids. I've been using these actually since 2017, and I'm obsessed. As well as our travel blankets, which are exceptionally getting smaller and smaller every single time because we're innovating how we can make them smaller yet still warm and cozy on an airplane. And we even have mini toiletry bags, which is honestly perfect for someone like me who doesn't take a lot of toiletries with them. And I am always using our bags to also hold all of my hard drives, because when you're a video editor, you need a lot of those. So, if you haven't checked out our stuff, go check it out. We have a discount code for our YouTube community. It's YTFriends. Type that in at checkout, and let's get back into the video. So, did you upgrade as well to the M4 chip, or do you absolutely not see the need for what you're doing? I do feel like for creatives, it is totally worth it, but for people who are just kind of doing your everyday video editing, run and gun, working on the go, I don't think the upgrade is probably worth it, because the M1 chip is absolutely still so amazing. Like my old laptop, I'm like, how much is this worth? Because it seems brand new. Like, it feels just as powerful as the first day. So Apple is almost shooting themselves in the foot by creating things that are outliving their new chips. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you go ahead and do that, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.